Hello beauties, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This channel is all about education and hyaluron pen and jet plasma. So today what I would love to do is do a little bit of troubleshooting with you guys with regards to jet plasma. Every now and then I get a student that wants to troubleshoot something, and I'm always running through the same things with them, so I thought it would be very beneficial to just make a video about how do you troubleshoot your jet plasma results, and what are the type of questions that I'm going to be asking you to run through should you want to troubleshoot with me. Let's get started. So in this video we'll be covering 4 important aspects. So the one being, what are your client's expectations? What are her concerns, and how are we going to be measuring the result once achieved? 2, we're going to look at home care, and I know everyone's like, ugh, home care, but unfortunately it's a critical part of skincare, so we're going to be looking at the home care component. We're going to be looking at the time frame or the timeline of photos when you guys are sending me photos, because I'm always going to ask you for photos. So we're going to talk about photos and the timeline of those photos exactly. And the last one is going to be the actual device settings and like more technical things. Yes. So let's start with our first point, which is, what is our client's actual expectation? What is her concern? And how will we be measuring that result? So I'm interrupting my own video just to quickly mention that at the very end of this troubleshooting video, I am mentioning to you like what my approach is if I am not 100% happy with an outcome, whether it's mine or one of my students, like what is that approach that I have at that point? And also personally, what do I teach my students and what do I say to clients when they are looking into buying a cycle or when they are looking into buying jet plasma? Like, what am I actually saying to them about this purchase? And obviously with the goal of really, putting things into perspective for them and managing expectations, etc. So enjoy. Okay, so let's start with day 1 consultation. When a client comes into your clinic and she's booking in for her jet plasma treatment or any treatment for that matter, the very first thing that you guys have to do is actually have the conversation with, like, what is the main reason why she's here with you today? What is her ultimate goals, his or her ultimate goal? What is it exactly that bothers them the most about their skin or wherever you will be working on the body? So in my clinic, what I would have always done is I would give the client an actual mirror and I would ask her to physically pinpoint to me the exact concerns that they have, and if it's possible to prioritize, like, does the pigmentation bother them more than the anti-aging? Like, I want to know specifics. Sometimes a client does come in and they will request that or they will inform you that their main concern is maybe a frown line like this. Now, if it leaves behind, so obviously it's an expression line. When I frown, I am pulling muscles, so contracting muscles, which is actually causing the muscle movement to create a frown line. When I'm relaxed, if that line is completely gone, then there's not too much that skin tightening will still do to that frown. However, if a client does have a static line remain, so like when I'm relaxed, there's still a little line that you can see on my frown, that static line or static wrinkle is 100% treatable. But just to put things into perspective for my client, also making sure that they're aware that's a muscle movement. You need a muscle inhibitor. You need a Botox if you want to actually treat that in the long term. I can treat the skin. Jet plasma treats the skin, but it does nothing to muscle and it does nothing to fat. So it is important for clients for you and your client to sit, to give her a mirror, him or her a mirror, actually pinpoint their main concerns and then talk to them about those concerns. Because when you send me a picture and you ask me to troubleshoot something with you, the first thing I'm going to do is say, can you show me a before and an after? And on the before, can you highlight to me what were the goals here? Because I've also had situations where ladies come with absolutely beautiful skin, and then I have to communicate to them, when we do your jet plasma, firstly, this is so preventative. We're going to be stimulating collagen all the way into your subcutaneous tissue. You're going to have 12 months worth of magic happening into your skin, rejuvenation, all sorts of advancements in texture, in pigmentation, in wrinkle reduction. There's going to be this ongoing progress taking place in your skin. But you are now about to pay me for 1 cycle or 2 cycles of Jet Plasma. And what I want to be sure is when we are done with our cycle, how will we measure the result to see that my client is happy? I want my client to be happy. Obviously, she wants to be happy. She's investing money. So if a client comes to me with a specific, let's say back to my frown line, when we're done with the Jet Plasma treatments and the appropriate time frame has passed, I've put her on whatever home care, I want to be able to look at her and we want to be able to see, did we achieve the result we set out to achieve? Or did we not? Is there something else to do, or is there more time that needs to pass, or whatever the case may be? So if a client comes in and she can specifically point out she's got pigmentation that she'd like to treat, no problem. But when treating that pigmentation, that'll be easy for you to measure. You can see the pigmentation is breaking up, the pigmentation is lifting out. You can measure it. So the first step to troubleshooting, because I get this, I get before and afters, and then they just say, can you see a result? Or what do you think? I don't know. What was the goal? So first, make sure that the conversation takes place where you and your client have identified the exact issues that you want to treat, and that it's clear as day to both of you, that you talk them through the elements that will take place. So for example, with lines and wrinkles, it's just lax skin, it's just skin that's dropped? Is it as a result of muscle movement? Is it pigmentation that needs to be lifted? When treating pigmentation, I always say that there's 3 things that need to be involved in the process to successfully remove the pigmentation, and that's your cell renewal has to be there, because we've got to drive the melanin and the pigmentation in the basal layer out and up in the skin. We need an inhibitor, so we need a tyrosinase inhibitor going into that cell and actually inhibiting that abnormal amount of melanin production, and then we need a blocker. So you need to have your ultimate SPF 50, high quality, professional quality to, the overactive melanin production will be easily triggered. It's almost like trauma. The moment the PTSD, the moment the skin gets any heat or any UV, it wants to produce more pigmentation. So we've got to have the blocker, we've got to have the cell renewal to drive it out, and we've got to have the inhibitor. So things like that, just as an example. You want to make sure that you and your client have actually addressed those things so that they're with you on this journey. It's important that when a client comes to me for a treatment, and especially when we're booking something like Jet, I'm like, we're starting a journey together. Like, this is the things that we're going to do, this is what we're going to look at, this is how long we're going to be doing this together, whether it's a week or 3 weeks or whatever the case may be. It's important for a client to be with you. They need to be committed to this journey with you. So that would be the first point to do, to identify what the concerns are and how you will be measuring that you guys have actually achieved your result. Then the second point is home care. I know, everyone hates hearing that they need home care. But how I train my students, or something that I try and help them, there's so many analogies I can use and so many examples, but YouTube, I try and keep these videos short. So one of the things I try and explain to my students is, when we come in with a professional treatment like my Jet Plasma, like my SQT, like my chemical peels, whatever professional treatment I'm doing, that is me giving the skin an instruction. I'm going in and giving the skin an instruction. It needs the tools to fulfill that instruction. Those tools are found in the professional home care your client needs to use along with their treatment. I can't tell the skin to do X, Y, and Z. Obviously it wasn't capable of doing that on its own, hence the skin is where it is, or whatever the problem is on your body that you're struggling with. So when I tell the skin to perform, I need to actually equip it with the skills, the tools set to enable it to perform that actual instruction. So I make sure my clients are very much aware that they're going to be in for way more treatments, for a way longer journey, if they do not want to commit to my professional home care. It doesn't have to be my specific product. Obviously that's a win if I do get them on my product, because I can monitor it, I know my ingredients, I can troubleshoot, I'm fully in control. Where if they're obviously using somebody else's professional range, that's not a problem, but it leaves a little bit of unpredictability in the equation. I would recommend that, yes, that you preferably don't have clients invest big sums of money in skincare if they're not on home care. The same thing with if I'm not healthy, there's something lacking in my body, I need to get a supplement. I know I can't take that supplement once. That's not how supplements work. I've got to take it every day for 2 or 3 months, maybe even 3 to 6 months, and okay, then I will start reaping the reward from taking the supplement. The skin's no different. It's an organ. It's your largest organ. It is intertwined with everything else going on in your body. So that includes your diet, that includes your skincare, that includes your stress levels, sleep, all of the rest. So people often don't see it that way. It's a big thing. It's a big deal. It's your largest organ, so you've got to treat it with the same respect that you would treat any other organ. So it is necessary to put your client on appropriate home care. If you are treating pigmentation, then as I just mentioned in the previous little point, you are going to need to put them on the appropriate pigmentation range or products, something that's going to actually work with you in combination with your treatment. If your client is doing anti-aging treatments, then I've got to make sure that I've got the appropriate anti-aging ingredients in her every single day routine, so that every day the skin is fed with exactly what it needs to do what I am asking it to do. And the same goes for my inflammatory disorders, my acne clients, and so on. If I'm treating a scar, I need a scar cream. If I'm treating your eye area, I need to give you an eye cream. If you are treating wrinkles, then I need to give you an anti-aging product. And so it carries on. If you're gonna have a client not on home care, be prepared for a way longer journey. That's the end of the story. Point number 3 is about your pictures. If you send me a before and an after, I'm gonna ask you, give me the date of the before and give me the date of the after photo, because we are changing the skin from the inside out, which means that on, I think, a normal scenario, you do need to allow time for the skin to actually change. And I know we live in this world of instant gratification, and we wanted our results yesterday, and look at all the amazing Jet Plasma, like instant results, like 3 days, 5 days, 1 day, instant, 20 minutes. I have one of my favorite before and afters is like literally 20 minutes later. So I know that Jet offers us an opportunity to get a client to a result very quickly, but we can't create that expectation with every client, because you don't know the client's lifestyle, dietary habits, intrinsic issues, disorders, medication, like I said, stress levels, all those things are out of your control, and sometimes if it's intrinsic and not extrinsic, out of her control or his control as well. So you cannot create an expectation that Monday to Friday we're going to have a result. You know, Jet is your best shot at getting that, for sure, but it's not an expectation that we can create. So when you send me your before and after photos, there's a good chance that I'm going to say to you, have we allowed 2 weeks to pass, 3 weeks to pass, 8 weeks to pass? Like, what is the time frame on this? If I'm doing a lot of very intensive work, I might need at least 6 to 8 weeks for some collagen synthesis. You know, there's a lot of things that need to take place in the skin with these changes, so sometimes it just needs some time. When treating pigmentation, I also try and make my clients aware that I'm going to go in and I'm going to treat the pigmentation in the basal layer of the skin. Then it actually needs to physically lift out of the skin. That will take some time. So just ensuring that your clients are allowing, you are giving them a realistic expectation of, we need to allow a little bit of time to pass for these results. Usually we are like overachieving in that time frame, but rather have that the situation where you and your client, you do your Jet Plasma. In your initial consultation, you tell them about the fact that we usually want to give the skin 6 to 8 weeks to actually produce these changes. We have a lot of photos of beautiful before and afters, like 1 week apart or whatever the case may be. Then wait, 3 months, 6 months, oh my gosh. And then you really cannot believe the actual changes that have taken place, and you haven't touched the client again. You've just allowed time to pass. Time is your best friend. But I know that we are in a world where we're always just in a hurry for everything. But be patient with results. So make sure that during your very initial consultations with your clients that you create this expectation of, we're gonna check on the skin in 4 weeks or 6 weeks or 8 weeks, and what you could just do is have your client come in for a free little mini facial or just a consultation so that you can get the photos that you need. Photos with the ring lights and all the things that are gonna be giving you the same exact look and lighting than the before photo had in the first place. So your photos are important. Firstly, that you take them properly. So natural lighting is the ultimate lighting with a ring light. So your client needs to be looking into the natural lighting. The natural lighting should obviously not be behind them. A ring light is amazing because they are going to be giving you a lighting that's consistent. You should have it on the same settings, so not too warm, not too cool, and on the same brightness preferably, and close enough. I've got a whole video on this channel, by the way, and close enough to your client that it actually overpowers all the other lighting, because if there's down lightings in the roof, it could cause shadowing. So you want to make sure that firstly you've taken the time to take proper photos, and so like I said, I've got a whole video on that alone. And then when you take your afters, try and get the same lighting. And like I said, there is a journey that's actually going to unfold from where the client is now to where she wants to be. Sometimes you have to allow for a little bit of time to pass in that journey. So that's what I'm going to ask you about your photos. How long have you waited between the before and the after? Yes, often we are absolutely like jaw-dropping, so much excitement, like cannot believe results so quickly, but that's not the expectation that we're trying to create with Jet Plasma. Because we don't know. Some clients will wait 3 weeks, some clients will wait 4, some 8, rarely, but that's the reality of the situation. So make sure that you are allowing some time between photo A and photo B. Then number 4, looking at your device in a more like technical element. So remember that these devices have to be plugged in and the plug's gotta be on. Sounds so silly, but honestly, I have students that forget this and then send me a video and they're like, it's not working. Please remember to plug it in, it's got to be on by the wall. Then we recommend that when you are actually busy with your Jet, that you normally keep your devices on a level 3, auto on, and if it's on pulse, we normally work on pulse hertz 10. You can drop the hertz. Let's say you are working on a client that has thin skin, dehydrated skin, sensitive skin, inflammatory disorders. You're so welcome to then go ahead and lower your hertz. But I normally tell my students, you've got to give me a reason for you to be adjusting settings. Usually 10 hertz is absolutely perfect. Auto's got to be on. There's nothing really to inserting the jet head. It perfectly just fits in. There's nothing to that. And you should be able to perform your Jet Plasma treatment as per all your training videos. We are so spoiled when it comes to Jet Plasma because the results do come so quickly and so effortlessly, and because there is such a short time period between starting someone's Jet Plasma journey and finishing it, we tend to be able to collect our photos so easily. Where, you know, in the past with traditional treatments like microneedling or chemical peels, clients were doing a series of 6 or 8 treatments over 6, 8, 10, 12 months, making it quite difficult to always have a before photo and an after photo and measure that result. With Jet Plasma, it is very easy to measure your result because you're getting it so quickly. But what that means is sometimes we are sitting with a client where we're not very excited about the result. We can see the result, but we're not feeling like this is what I wanted. And what I'm constantly trying to remind my students is, if this client had not done Jet and had done microneedling, guess what? You would have felt the same, but it would have taken you a year to get there. It would have taken you 8 sessions or 6 sessions. It would have taken you inflammation on every appointment, numbing cream, long appointments, downtime, all the things you would have had to deal with every single appointment over such a long period to get to exactly where you're getting to now. Because the skin's ability to perform is going to differ from person to person. My skin is in no way or form the same as your skin, and that means that sometimes we're going to have clients who just respond much quicker than others. No other treatment would have given you a different outcome. It's just now it's very easy to measure it. So when you are doing Jet Plasma, please remember that, like I said, clients are choosing Jet Plasma for multiple reasons. Firstly, because it's amazing. It produces such crazy results. But secondly, because they don't have burning, they don't have scabbing, they don't have scratching, they don't have holes, they don't have sensitivity, inflammation, redness, they don't have a long hour, 2-hour treatments, they don't have to wait a month in between treatments. Clients are not choosing Jet because of one aspect. Clients are choosing Jet because of all the benefits that they can get. They're choosing the most luxurious route to get to their results. They could have gotten to those same results but over a much longer period of time, or with the same results but with way more trauma to deal with. So please remember, when you're selling somebody a Jet Plasma cycle, you're not just selling them, here's your result. You're selling them this package of all the beautiful things that Jet Plasma has to offer. So if your client gets to the result and you guys are not 100% ecstatic about that outcome, remember that she got there without having to go through you burning holes in the skin or stabbing it with needles or excessive peeling. Like, she got to where she is now effortlessly, and quickly. Like, I didn't have to wait a year to measure your result. So please remember, with Jet Plasma, if you are ever finding yourself in a position, and luckily it's massively rare, but should you find yourself in a position where you have that one client and you're not 100% happy yet with the outcome that she's achieved, remember that that outcome would probably have been the same with other modalities or other treatments, but it would have costed her a lot more to get there in terms of time and in terms of trauma and in terms of the inconvenience of all those little things that we don't want to put our skin through to get to that result. I hope that that makes sense. I also just want to mention one last thing. When I do my consultation for Jet Plasma, I'm always introducing my client to, ideally, the ultimate is we do 3 cycles of Jet Plasma. How quickly you can do your 3 cycles of Jet Plasma entirely depends on you and your budget and your time frame and how badly you want this, but that's the end goal. That way, even if they say, I'm buying only 1 cycle of Jet Plasma from you today, you've already planted that seed that helps them be a little bit more patient with this outcome. You've already planted that seed that helps them gain perspective over, ultimately, to get you to be finished and completed, to get you to the ultimate skin transformation. We want to do 3 sessions or 3 cycles of Jet Plasma. So that also just helps put it into, so when they are done with cycle 1 and only 3 days or 5 days have passed, so, you know, we've literally just gone in and done it, they aren't like quickly looking for their results. They're not like, oh my gosh, where's my skin transformation? They in the back of their minds, they know, okay, 1 of 3. I can do the next one in 3 months, I can do the next one in 3 days, I can do the next one next year, but the ultimate goal is that I do 3 cycles of Jet Plasma. That's when we're going to look at the ultimate measurement of the results. So you can also just keep that at the back of your mind when troubleshooting your Jet Plasma. And that concludes our troubleshooting video. I hope that this is going to help you with some of your own troubleshooting. Please let me know in the comments if it was helpful. Please also just drop in the comments if there's something else you want me to troubleshoot. Like if you want to see certain areas troubleshooted. I do have videos on my channel of face, neck, and tummy. But if there are other areas that you want me to go through with you, by all means, just let me know what those are and I will gladly troubleshoot it with you. I absolutely love my Jet Plasma. We've just gotten our upgrade, so I'll be posting a video about that soon. But please do, drop your comments, like my videos, subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept in the loop with more videos to come. I don't post that often because I do want to, when I post you guys videos, I want to make sure it's something that's really valuable to you. So if there is something you want me to share, just let me know what that is. Thanks, guys.